Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pits of Metalcast. Your host, Dave. I get online a special guest, vocalist of Raven Black. Raven Black, how you doing, Raven?
Good. How are you doing, Dave?
Pretty good. So you guys are getting ready to release your new album, 13, on May 10th?
Correct. We're super excited.
Then you got a big tour coming up. Tell us about the tour.
The Little Monsters Tour, we are taking out our friends Hale Sagan and Aboleth, both in L.A.
Uh-huh.
And heading out, we're going to be doing 25 shows in 30 days, I believe.
Where's the tour kicking off at?
We are kicking it off in Cincinnati, Ohio.
And where's it going to be ending at?
It's ending in Michigan at the Token Lounge.
Cool. So the new album, are you guys excited to get that new album out?
Yes, we've done so well in the last month. We started to launch the pre-order, and so many people have pre-ordered the CD, and they're all going to be shipped out next week. So super excited. We also did a VIP package this tour for the first time. So a lot of people are doing the VIP packages, so they'll get to hang out with us prior to the show. It's going to be really fun. We're looking forward to it.
So now when they pre-order the CD, are you guys signing them?
We are signing them. But don't be shy to come up to us if you have one, and or if you're buying at the show, we'll sign them at the show as well. The pre-order CDs, the pre-order bundle, those people who did the bundle package, that's only exclusive to the pre-order, but they're getting a specific, an exclusive shirt and poster signed by the band as well for the pre-order. So the bundle pre-order.
Right. So and how can they pre-order the new CD?
There is a link you can go to. It's Raven Black Shop. It's bit.ly/Raven Black Shop.
Cool. So now, how many songs are going to be on this new album?
I believe we have, is it 7 or 8? Shoot. I think it's 7 songs.
Then how you know how long the running time is? Like how long is the whole album altogether?
I believe it's probably half an hour, a little bit over half an hour.
So now, where did you guys record the new album at?
We recorded it in the wilderness with Worm Group. That's Ulrich Wild Studio in Los Angeles.
And who did you guys work with?
Ulrich Wild.
Oh, okay. How about the album before? Did you use the same studio?
Yes, it's we've been with Ulrich now. This is our second album, and we're thinking he might be on the third album. Cool.
So now, how long was the recording process for the 13 album?
Oh gosh. Okay, so we got back from tour late December or middle of December, right before Christmas. We were out on tour with Psychostick. We got home, did the holidays, and I believe we got into the studio with him in January. So from January, and we just finished recording, mixing and mastering in late March. So we probably spent about 2 months, 2.5 months on just the recording process.
Now, how long was the songwriting process for this new album?
Well, the songs, we weren't constantly writing, but there were two songs, I believe, that we already wrote prior to going on our last tour, and then we wrote one song after we got back from tour, and then 2 of the songs we had already written 2 years ago that we've been developing, and we finalized it in January, I believe. So overall, I'd say 2 years, a span of 2 years. We write a lot of songs in that time period, but we go back and decide which songs are going to make it on the album, on the next album.
So now with the lyrics, does everybody write lyrics?
No, I write the lyrics.
How about the music?
The music we write all together, collaboratively. Melody is usually me. Guitar, obviously, Chris. And then drums. I mean, we kind of write many different ways together. It could start with a guitar riff. It could start with just a melody, a cappella on my phone. Sometimes we start with drums, and then guitar gets laid on top of drums, and then I add lyrics and melody on top of it. So we don't have any one way that we do it. It's kind of more of what's inspired in the moment.
Right. So let's go back in time. What Tell me a little bit about the history of the band Raven Black.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so Muppet, my drummer Muppet is also my husband.
Right.
Him and I started the band in 2012, and it was called, Raven Black Project. And we were trying to put together a lineup, and we did it with our friends at the time. Just never quite gave me the sound and the image and the vision that I had. So we changed our lineup in 2014, and then we auditioned, different musicians for bass and for guitar. And then once the doctor, Chris, came on board, we really spent about 2 years writing together before releasing anything, and trying to hone in on the sound and the vision to collaborate with the vision, the comic book, the story of the characters that I created, that we created together as well. The guys definitely have an influence on the character creation for the Doctor and Muppet, Stitches, and myself. So, but it all stems from Raven's, her madness and her psyche. So that's where it all started and changed. So then we started touring after the 2 years, that first 2 years of writing together.
Right. So you originally created the characters for each of the band members?
Yes. The Doctor actually collaboratively helped me come up with that character because he was new. There was a Doctor, but he came in and really, really developed that character based on his path,
Now, each member's makeup, did you come up with the makeup, or they kind of put in their own?
You know what? No, everyone has kind of created their own makeup. I gave them suggestions, but at the end of the day, I always wanted them to kind of develop it within themselves, their insides on the outside kind of thing, what they felt as a person, as the character itself, what they felt was appropriate. And I think it's been developed and evolved over the last few years. Each of them has kind of created their own look on the makeup.
So now when you guys go on tour, who does all the makeup? You do?
We all do our own makeup, actually. I used to do everyone's makeup, but now they all do their own makeup.
That's cool. So how long does it take you to get all that doll makeup on?
For me, about an hour. I know the guys take less time than I do, but my makeup takes about an hour. I mean, that's hair, makeup, and dressing up.
Right. So now, before Raven Black, the band, have you sang for any other bands before that?
Have I sang for any other
Yes.
bands? No, I have not. I've had some friends get together thinking about creating bands, and I've sang with some other bands, but it never actually, came to be anything because they were more on the hard rock side.
Right.
And, it didn't fit kind of, I felt incomplete because I'm definitely a metalhead. So I have a lot of hard rock and punk influences and things like that from the past, even 80s music, classical, but metal is like where my heart is. So each of those bands that I kind of tried to work with just never really, connected with me.
Right. So now, what age did you start singing?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Personally, I've been singing since I was like 4. Not very well, but since I was 4.
So did your mom and dad think you were a good singer when you're young?
I don't know, but they always put me and my brother in front of the family and everyone else, for parties and stuff like that. So, and I was in, child choirs and things like that. I did a lot of child musical theater and acting at the Mark Taper Forum from age 8 till like age 14. So musicals and stuff like that, which I'm really into.
So now are your parents supportive of Raven Black?
Oh, of course, all the way. All of our families are 150% in. More than they want to be, I think. They don't really have a choice. We live and breathe it.
Now I know you and Muppet were at NAMFest this year. How'd that go?
Oh, it was so fun. It was like it's always like a big reunion. We see a lot of friends, other musicians we've played with across the United States that come together and you just meet a lot of different people and hang out, and it's really fun. Plus all the new gear that comes out. You know, we're always trying to keep up with making our sound better. So, you know, it's both educational and fun at the same time.
Yeah, you did a Facebook Live video. You searching for Muppets endorsements.
Yeah, yeah. You watched that? Yeah, I went live because you know a lot of fans they hear about NAMM all the time, and it's you know it's a pro convention, and you know it's not like it's open to the public, so they always hear about it. They kind of know about it, but I thought it'd be fun to kind of take them with me and walk around and see what the big deal is about NAMM, you know, for musicians and stuff. So I thought it would be fun and cool. And they enjoyed it, so I'm glad they did.
Now, the band name Raven Black, you came up with that name from the comic?
Well, actually, Raven is my middle name. So Raven's actually my name. And then Black was just in place of my last name. Obviously, I'm married to Muppet.
Right.
So, you know, for the band's name, we just created Raven Black. Our band, you know, symbolizes a lot of darkness and dark versus light, a lot of duality. So I figured, you know, Raven Black. Plus, I'm a big Edgar Allan Poe fan, so Raven Black is obviously the Raven Bird from the poem more. Plus, I have kind of a squawking, taunting voice anyway, so it's fitting.
Yeah, so now with Raven Black, what genre of metal would you put you guys in?
You know what? I have never actually thought of us as any specific metal, because I think we've kind of created a familiar sound of our influences, but something very new and very different. But I know that the radio play, they've categorized us as new metal or alternative metal. And then a lot of our gothic fans, believe it or not, we have a lot of gothic and industrial fans and punk fans that would consider us gothic metal. I listen to some gothic metal, and I think we're a little heavier than most gothic metal. You know, we just have a lot of the elements that we all love so much that we threw into our music and our sound. But we like, you know, melodic. We definitely love heavy. We like breakdowns. We like dropping our tuning. So I guess that kind of fits in that new metal kind of category, right?
So now, when you were starting out Raven Black, what singers out there were influential to you?
Oh, you know what? I mean, I love Arch Enemy, Maria Brink, obviously. I love Janis Joplin. I like Stevie Nicks, too. There's just so many influences. I love Marilyn Manson. Rob Zombie. I mean, my God. Lamb of God. Metallica, obviously. The Black Album, that's one of my favorites. I love Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin. I mean, you know, I definitely would say that I definitely will always sing. I love singing, but the screaming and the growling, one of my favorite things to do is my grottle, so it's just fun for me, you know, to use my fry. I really enjoy doing that. Saves my voice, too, from ultimately, you know, full-on guttural screaming. Plus, I'm a female, so I feel like guttural is not really complementary to my natural voice.
Right.
Yeah, so I try not to do any gutturals. There are some parts and breakdowns or bridges that I might, you know, kind of dive into it a little bit. But when, you know, we're definitely a touring band. So when we're doing an average of 30 shows every single time we tour, the guttural is probably not the best thing for me to do every day.
Now, how about a band like Kitty? Were they influential to you?
You know what? I haven't really listened to a lot of Kitty, but a lot of people definitely say, you know, we remind them of Kitty or heard Stolen Babies, you know, different things like that. But no, I wouldn't say that's one of my influences. I don't know Kitty's music very well.
Now, you guys put a single out for the song Monster, correct?
Yes.
And how's the response been for that one?
People are enjoying it. I'm really glad. We're kind of just, you know, we hoped everybody liked it, and everyone seems to really enjoy it. It's different from our last album. It's heavier. It's more in your face. we definitely wanted to warm up to everybody on the first album with a lot more singing and introducing the screaming and stuff like that. But this album, there's a lot more. I have a lot more to say. I think Raven's character has evolved in the second album. We're tying the comic books to the album. So, the comic book, the first issue is the beginning. So it's how we all came to be, where we came from. And more of an introduction into Raven's, her evolution, basically, from being, once human, and then her change into being half human, half doll. So the second comic book issue is, we came across the darkness. So the second album, 13, is kind of headed in that direction of going through some darkness. So she's a little bit angrier or more vocal in her messages on the second album. So Monster is about the jealous green monster and trolls and people talking shit, basically. When you're a band and you're musicians and you're working on your craft and you're putting everything you got in it, I mean, literally, blood, sweat, and tears, are arguing, changes, financial burdens, being away from family, being away from friends, losing jobs, getting new jobs. I mean, just doing everything you can to make it and do what you want to do and share your music. There's some dark times. So when people kind of put that negative thing out there and tell you, call you names or say your music sucks or something like that, we're not doing it for those people. We're doing it for our fans.
Right.
Doing it because we love it. So two of the songs on the album on this one are basically kind of my response to that.
Like a
that negativity.
Like a big fuck you.
It's a big fuck you, basically. And I don't, we don't really use profanity in our music. We have a lot of young fans.
Right.
A lot of young fans. I mean, like 6 years old, 3 years old. So we want to keep it clean. We don't want explicit, advisories on our music. But there is a way to tell somebody to fuck off without telling them to fuck off.
So now, since this band's been together, what would you consider one of the best tours you went on?
Oh, I'd have to say it was Mushroomhead. When we went out in the end of 2016 on their Halloween tour, we had a lot of fun. We had so much fun. We consider them our friends, and we're playing with them again in West Virginia. They're headlining Metal in the Mountains, so we're super stoked to hang out with them again. Be our friends again. It's been a while. It's been like a year. But yeah, I mean, we still keep in touch with them. That was probably the most fun tour. It's very fitting. Fans, I mean, Mushroomhead fans and Raven Black fans, they just, it's all one community. It's awesome. And then, of course, Psychostick. We went out with Psychostick and didn't really know what to expect, but we had a lot of fun with them. And their fans are great. So, that was actually really fun. But this tour coming up, we're headlining. So, it's going to be different. But then we get to put on our full production, which is nice. Our stage props and our whole, backing tracks as far as in between songs and stuff.
Right.
It gets to be more personalized for us.
So how long you guys looking to do for a set list for this tour?
We're doing a full hour, believe it or not. Doing a full hour. We're taking our time. We enjoy our headlining. We take our time and enjoy the crowd.
Now, when you guys tour, do you have any favorite venues you play?
Oh, plenty. Yes. Right at the top of my head, Token Lounge for sure, Michigan. We love them there. They treat us really well. They've got great sound. Sound manager's awesome there. The Haven in Florida, in Orlando, one of our favorite stops. Foo Bar, Third Wheel in Lewiston, Idaho. We're not going to Texas this round. We're probably going to go there late summer. We kind of cut the states in half because if not, we end up being out for 6 to 8 weeks, and it's a very long tour that way. But in Texas, one of our favorites is, why am I drawing a blank? Why am I drawing a blank in Dallas? Shoot. The Dirty 30. There you go. Dirty 30 is one of our favorite spots. Salt Lake City, the Riot Room in Kansas City, which is super exciting this time. Although we're doing our headlining, we're playing with New Year's Day and Stitched Up Heart this time in Kansas City at the Riot Room, which is awesome. And we're super stoked to share the stage with them. What else? Definitely the Agora, if they'll have us back. We usually play there with Mushroom Head. Where else? Cincinnati is our first stop for the first time in Cincinnati and Toledo this time. We usually go to Cleveland in Ohio. We have a very strong fan base in Ohio. Ohio fans are amazing. But we're finally going to Cincinnati and Toledo, so kind of nice to change it up a little bit. But those people, man, just Ohio. Ohio fans are so diehard. So we're super excited to hit these other spots.
Now, are you guys hitting Illinois, Wisconsin in this tour?
Illinois, yes. Oh, shoot. One of my top ones that I didn't mention. Top Fuel Saloon. Braidwood, Illinois, right outside of Chicago. One of our favorite spots. Freak is there. Hey, Freak, if you're listening. But yeah, the staff there, everyone there, we love. They're like family to us. And I don't think there's one tour we've gone on where we haven't gone there. So that's another stop that we always... Oh, and the Masquerade in Atlanta. I have to say that we have a lot of love for them, too.
So you guys aren't hitting Chicago on this tour at all?
No, not in Chicago, just Braidwood, Illinois, which is, it's like, I think it's only like 20 or 30 minutes outside of Chicago.
No Wisconsin dates?
Not this time. Probably late summer.
Okay. So, do you have a worst club that you ever played at?
I'm trying to think. No, I wouldn't say they're the worst club. It's just that it's hard to park and get to. But I wouldn't say anything bad about any clubs. Everyone's always been really receiving us really well. Our first year out last year, 2017, people have been very, very supportive. Venues, the promoters, we're a new band. We're not signed. We're not on a label, not a huge label, and we're a do-it-yourself band. So the only reason why we're out there is because of our fans. I mean, we're still in the trenches, going through the battle. There's no luxuries on our end. So, every venue, every promoter that's kind of believed in us and given us a shot, we just appreciate it.
Now, do you have a fondest memory of being in this band so far?
Let me see. There's so many, but, we just recently did a lineup change, so we lost our bassist, Stitches, Lewis, and, we parted ways after the last tour. So that was a big, huge turning point in the band. But it's Chris, myself, and Muppet. We feel confident moving forward. We have a stand-in bass player on this tour, Tim, but, change is good when it's for the future. So, we wish him luck and stuff like that, but that was a big change. But I'd have to say the one memory as a band was that cohesiveness of the three of us kind of standing there going, we're going to continue and we're going to do this together. It's all about the vision and respecting each other and putting all of yourself into it. I mean, people don't realize that, when you join a band, it's not a part-time job. If you want to really tour and you really want to do this, you got to put everything of yourself into it. And the three of us really have that, and it's very rare, and it's very important to recognize that. Our families too. It's amazing the amount of support that our families put into this. Not just the band, but all of our family members and our friends, how much they contribute into our moving forward as a band. So I'd have to say that's the most important memory to me, is those moments when we're all sitting there, not playing a show, working towards playing the show. and then our families being there with us. So I'd have to say that's the most important part that I always remember.
Okay, now do you have a most funny or embarrassing moment on a tour?
So many. Probably for me personally, I did my reveal this year. I think I did it in January, February, where I showed my face without makeup. And some people were disappointed. They wanted the mystery to stay. But I wanted freedom. But probably one of my most embarrassing moments is, just wanting to go pee. And I had to hide in my RV, and there was no toilet paper. So I couldn't go. I just had to hold it. And I was really embarrassed because I wanted to run outside and go to the venue, but I couldn't because there was a bunch of people out front, and we were parked in front of the venue. So I just kind of was jumping around and bouncing around until everybody went in. So I kind of had to hold my pee for a long time. But now I don't have to do that because I've already revealed my face. And so people can see me now without makeup. It's okay. I'm not Ghost.
Right. So now, since you've been in Raven Black, doing this music business, what would you consider to be the pros and cons of the music business?
Ooh, that's a big question. Pros is you're doing what you love. You get to create and be yourself because music is, it's not as discriminatory as other, careers. It's your art, so you get to do what you want. The freedom of creating is amazing and priceless. I want to have blue hair today. I get to have blue hair. I want to wear tattoo sleeves. I don't have to hide them. I don't have to dress up. I don't have to do anything. So I do love that. I get to fully be my complete self as a musician, an artist. But the cons is, the music industry in general. The entertainment business has changed so much with social media and internet and all that stuff. And it's not like, back in the day, as you always hear. But it's tough because unless you fit in the perfect cookie cutter idea of what a big label thinks a successful band should look like, sound like, and be like, you don't get any real support financially from those big labels to go out and do it on a mass level, to get your music out to the world. So when you're doing it yourself, it's really hard. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of financial burden. Everything costs money. And I guess the best thing I could say is at least I've met along the way through these hardships some really amazing people who actually believe in the art and the music that support bands like us and work with you and try to help you get your music out there. So, it's tough. It's a very tough business to be in. And even with our little bit of traction that we've made in the last year and a half, we have so far to go, to get to that level. And so I've decided that it's up to our fans. I mean, really, I think the big labels are going to come knock on our door when they think they can see money in us. And, at that point, I don't think we're going to need them, at that point. So, because they basically wait till you have enough money for them to take a piece of. And we're more in it for the music and the fans. So I think we're just always going to be poor, but it's okay. As long as we're doing music and we've got a roof over our head and food on the table, I think we're pretty happy. So
right.
Our fans are what are our label. I mean, that's kind of how we've talked about it, casually. It's just our label is our fans. I mean, they dictate what's coming up next, what they want. They wanted VIP. We created VIP. They wanted one-on-one chats. I just launched that this week. Some of our fans asked if they can, do a live FaceTime chat with me, personally for an hour phone call. And I said, okay, all right, why not, right? And I look at it as helping somebody or just being more personal with our fans. And they support it. They came up with the amount. you know, and I basically we try to create what they want. If they want a new shirt, they want, you know, a new poster, or they want some of our stage props or for collectibles, you know, they want more baby ravens. I'm trying to keep up with what they want and creating what they want and what they love. And if it helps them in their life or makes them happy or excited, we're going to try our best to create it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's fun. They challenge me every day.
Yeah, that's good that you guys are in this for the fans, though.
Yeah, I mean that's what we're doing. I mean, it's hard. You know, it's hard.
So now, what advice would you give bands that are starting out these days?
Well, I have to say the one thing that I've noticed, and many people, you know, hit me up on Facebook Messenger and stuff and ask advice. My advice is to, number one, ask yourself how dedicated and how committed you are to it. You know, if you do it part-time, you're going to see part-time results. So that's one. Two is whoever you work with, make sure they are on the same page of that level of commitment all the way through. Money-wise, time, creative contribution, everything, you know, and that includes their surroundings, their wife, their girlfriend, their boyfriend, their kids, you know, everything has to match up with every member. That's why so many bands break up. And then number three, which is probably the most important, is, you know, work on the music. I mean, don't put anything shitty out. You know, like, don't half-ass it. If you don't love your own music, then you can't expect other people to love it too. So we love our music, and not everyone's going to love our music, and we don't expect that. That's an unrealistic expectation. But we do know that the people who love our music will continue to love our music, and because we love our music and we love them, and it's all about sticking to that. You know, not trying to write to make money, or not trying to write to become famous, but write what you love and be really connected to it. And then, you know, if you really love it, there's going to be other people who love it too. You know, and you kind of have to stick to that.
Right. So now what's your thoughts on illegal downloading?
Illegal downloading? Like pirating? Like
yeah.
I don't really have much thought on that. I think people are going to find a way if they can't afford it. You know, like if somebody's going to steal my song or whatever, like, and that's the only means of them getting something that they need and they can't afford it, you know, more power to them. I don't condone it. I don't go say, oh, everybody go steal music, because we work really hard and spend a lot of money on making it and putting it out there. If they love it that much, I wish they would contribute, you know, whatever they can. But yeah, I don't really have like a strong stance on that. I try to stay out of political stuff or PC or, you know, anything that has to do with like religion or politics or any kind of debate. I'm pretty like, do unto others as you would do to yourself. I live by that rule. Like, you treat people right, they treat you right. You know, don't be a douchebag.
Right.
You know. But, I mean, I know some people, they just can't, like, I know a lot of, like, our fans in Mexico, they just can't afford it. You know, and I don't know what else I could do, you know what I mean, other than just try to keep things standard, like, you know, our CDs are $10. I think that's affordable. I think people can save that. You know, I try to keep things affordable. You know, like this tour, our tour shirt, you know, we were trying to price it. And it's like, we know what it costs to make it. We know the time and effort. We know we need to make money to create the next, you know, the next release. And we have to make a living. But at the same time, I also want everybody to be able to get it. You know, what's the point of making something if nobody can buy it, right?
Right.
So it's really a hard place. It's really a balance of, you know, yeah, a lot of tours, they sell their shirts for $50.
Yep.
You know, and I'm like, well, that's great that everyone else can sell it for, well, we're going to sell it for like 30. because then it makes it a little bit more affordable. They can still buy the CD. I want them to have the CD before the shirt. You know, I want our music out there.
Right.
I think music is a different connection than a T-shirt. And then now this way they can afford both. You know, if they save up and they really want something, they'll save up for it. And our fans they're so good. I mean, how many times do I get messages, I can't afford it right now, but I'm waiting, I'm saving up, I'm going to order it when I have enough money. And I'm like, great. That's a new thing we're going to do after tour, too. We're probably going to do some kind of a sale at one point or another so that, you know, maybe people who couldn't afford it on tour or at the show, because they paid for a ticket to the show, they can still buy something later. The CDs are hard because CDs are set price. You know, there's so much money spent on production, you can't lose money on it, right? So CD prices pretty much stay the same. But like merch and stuff like that, we're trying to make money, but at the same time, making sure everyone can afford it.
Right. So now, Raven, I'm going to ask you some fun questions now.
Okay.
What's your favorite food to eat?
Oh my God, so many. I'm a total pig as far as food. Just, you know, I'm not like one of those girls that is shy to eat. So my ultimate favorite dish is Korean barbecue.
And
like I eat that every day, all day long, for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
what's your favorite beverage to drink?
Coffee. Any kind of coffee.
Now, are you a cat or a dog person?
I'm both. So I have 4 cats and 2 puppies. And my puppies I call them cuppies because they're cat puppies. Because they live with cats, so they act like cats. And then my cats act like puppies because they live with puppies. So they're pets. But yeah, I love both. Cats are really interesting characters in their own right. I think that they're mystical. I feel that they have a higher power sense, and we're just too dumb to figure it out as humans. And then I think dogs are just adorable and cute, and they're my bed pillow.
So what was the first concert you ever went to?
My first concert? Oh, shit. My first concert was in the 80s, and it was, believe it or not, Depeche Mode.
Depeche Mode.
Yep. I got hit with the new wave British invasion to America. Because I was listening to underground punk, like British punk. That's probably what kind of got me towards that. But I went through many different stages, but I was doing the whole, you know, Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, then I got into hair metal. Oh, no, hair metal brought me back, I think. But I loved, like, Motley Crue. I loved Motley Crue. And then, of course, then going into the 90s, Guns N' Roses and all that stuff, and then Metallica. So
right.
I came back, but there was that little year or two that I got really into Depeche Mode, Susie and the Banshees. Who else was I into at that time? I never, not Duran Duran or anything, but more like Depeche Mode, because they were darker themes. So that was like the goth rock kind of new wave era. But yeah, Depeche Mode was one of my first concerts.
What was your first metal concert you went to?
Oh my God. Dude, I think Alice Cooper. That again was 80s. Late 80s, early 90s, I think.
Now, who would you consider your top 3 favorite bands out there right now?
Right now?
Yeah.
Oh my God. God, I have so many. Okay, so I'm trying to think what's on my playlist right now. So right now I'm loving Avatar. And I want to tour with them. That's probably why. Second one, I'm still listening to Beatles. I mean, Beatles is my all-time favorite band. I still listen to my old Beatles, like the greatest hits and all the different. I bought, you know, like those collector
right
CDs. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The collection, like Yellow Submarine. Like I have a whole collection of Beatles, and that's on my playlist all the time. So I think of it more like an albums, not really artists. And then, so Avatar, what did I say? Avatar. Beatles is always on my playlist. And then the other one right now is, goodness. Oh, you know what I've been listening to lately? Killer's Confession, believe it or not. I was checking out Waylon's, his single, and I'm digging it. I'm digging their album, so I think I have that on my playlist right now. And I like to listen to, like, up-and-coming bands. They share music with me a lot. And I like to see what's fresh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't really like to listen to commercial metal as much as underground metal. I like unknown bands. So I have a lot of that on my playlist. Like random music from many different do-it-yourself bands.
When you guys are on, when you're on tour, do bands come up and give you their demos, CDs and stuff like that?
Yeah, all the time. And I usually trade with them merch because I know everybody's, struggling. But yeah, I mean, totally. I listen to their CDs. Like I said, I'll put it in my computer and put it on my iTunes, and then I just have that running playlist on my phone that syncs.
Right.
Oh, and Static X is probably another one recently that I've been listening to. There's a specific song, Reptile, that really I'm digging right now. It's an old song, but I like it a lot.
Yeah, too bad Wayne Static is gone.
I know. Well, his bass player, Andy Cole, played bass on this album for us. Guest spot from Static X, and
right.
It was with Wayne Static too. But Andy Cole played bass on this album, so that's him on our album 13, playing bass.
Cool.
Yeah.
So
that was super cool, hanging out with him in the studio. He's super, super humble, amazing bass player, man. It's definitely a pro bass player when they walk into the studio, listen to your music for the first time, and just connect with it and play bass, and it's like, fuck. That's all I could say.
So in the next 5 to 10 years, where do you hope to see Raven Black at?
Touring all worldwide. We're hoping to go to Europe and Japan next year. Maybe South America. We want to tour worldwide. Oh, and Australia. Yeah. And we've been invited to go to Canada a lot, and Europe as well, but it's very expensive. A lot of our fans in the UK and stuff, and Austria, Germany, they're like, when are you coming to Europe? And we're like, it literally will cost us, because we're not a huge band and we're not on a big label. When you're in a label, big labels pay for that, all your travel and all that. When you're like us, we have to pay for everything. So back wine, driver, a van, airfare, all that. Just going to Europe costs us about $20,000 just to get there.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why we haven't gone, because we're do it yourself. We can't afford to do that yet.
Right.
I'm pretty honest about everything, so that's why we haven't gone. So all of our European fans in Australia, if we would want to go, we just can't. We have to sell more CDs.
Yeah.
And merch.
So now, if the people listening want to find your tour schedule, what's the best way to the Facebook page?
Facebook page, it's all over. There's a post that's pinned at the very top of our page that they can look at all the dates and the ticket links. They can also go to our website, which is ravenblackband.com. So www.ravenblackband.com, and it's all on there.
Cool. Well, Raven, I want to thank you very much for your time for an interview tonight. Do you have any final words for everybody out there?
No, just, support local music. When your friends ask you to go to a show, they're just trying to start out, be there for them. They put a lot of work into it. Everyone has an opportunity to make it. You just got to go for it and put the work in.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for your time, Raven.
Thanks, Dave.
I hope you have a great tour.
Thank you so much. Are you ever going to come out to a show? Where
we're by Wisconsin, but we're in Illinois, but close to Wisconsin.